Yo, good afternoon, good Sunday afternoon. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all well. I am a little, I don't really want to call myself under the weather. I don't know what it is, man. I decided to do a recorded version of the live today. It's about 5:30, so this is probably going to be about maybe, um, might be about a 3 hour window potentially. Only because I'm not feeling swift. I'm not feeling the greatest. I will say that my sleep and work kind of got I don't even know the proper adjective to describe it, but let's just say that like last night I got like almost no sleep whatsoever. Still had to get up at 4 this morning and go into worked and felt like, okay, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna try to grab something to eat, and then I need to lay down and try to sleep, so I would be, some not coherent, but I would be effective in, charting and everything else like that today. And slept for about 4.5 hours, from about noon to about 4:30. And it's not a grogginess, it's like my head is killing me. And yeah, I don't know, excuse me, I don't know exactly ultimately like how effective I would be. So I still wanted to at least come on, generate and produce some content for you all, just not necessarily the way that I would have wanted in a live setting. So, but yeah, that's a backstory on me. I mean, it probably would be if it was more interactive. It might seem a certain way, but I also don't want to start the live and then just be like, yeah, I can't do this. I think that's kind of a little disingenuous to do that way. So I'd much rather just, unfortunately, get some content and what I'm looking for out ahead of this week's financial news and some other things going on. But I hope everybody is good. Hope everybody's well. Yesterday I did produce like kind of that recap and outlook video in like less than 3 minutes, which is probably like a record for me in terms of being extremely concise. But I felt like the way that price reflected last week, even if depending upon what your interpretation is, I looked at it as a mixed week, and it seems like and when I say clear, I don't mean like it's easy, right? But I will say it looks pretty clear to read like what the anticipatory move could be. And I've kind of just looked at that and scaled down. I'm sitting here, as you can tell, like I'm one time frame below what I usually sit on. This is actually the 1 minute time frame, which you hardly ever like really see me use. But I was just kind of looking and marking out specific areas that I would actually be looking for certain things to occur. So obviously today we're 30 minutes away from the open. Again, two schools of thought. Don't necessarily want to put on unnecessary risk. I do have my XFA that I can trade out of today, should I choose to do so. So there, if you can see just above my head, there is my 50K Express funded. I did actually take a position on Friday, and because I didn't, I'm gonna go thinking that I already did it, and I did not. So for those that tuned in last week when we did the live, believe that was Tuesday or Wednesday. It was Tuesday, because I said that I was going to activate my XFA the following day. So here's what happened, and we could spend a little time talking about that. What I ended up doing, because I realized that there was news, there was obviously the sell-off last week. I know you're like, what else is new? There was a sell-off the week before that. Calm down. But I was looking at the development of price, and something just kind of said to me, literally don't do it, right? In terms of don't activate the XFA. So I got off stream a Tuesday night, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead, and something said don't do it. And it was one of those cases where I was saying to myself, okay, and it wasn't about reflection like what happened the last time. Because the last time, and by last time I mean when I was funded in August last year, I waited like almost 2 weeks before I touched my XFA. I passed. I took like a week. Basically, I took a week off, and then I followed price the following week, and then I started getting into positions. So this situation was not that situation. So that they weren't related. This situation was more about if you activate it, you're going to find something, and it's a little bit unpredictable right now. Don't know exactly how, which kind of it worked in a fashion and in a sense that I said, okay, let's just see. And I waited. So I deliberately waited until Friday. And the crazy thing is, even when I activated it on Friday, I did not have the intention of taking any position. I was going to wait until today. However, I didn't find it. I've been looking at price. I walked through, did all of the agreements and everything electronically. Got the account, and as you all know, that stream from Tuesday was cut short because we didn't have access to the chart. No active account or active combine, so that eliminated the ability to chart. So I initially said, okay, great. We reactivated. I just followed price throughout the rest of the week on TradingView, pretty much. So I was looking at the prospect of a position, and then I was like, oh, okay. We've gone ahead. We've done the administrative stuff, done the paperwork, done the electronic signature. Great. Back into a practice account because I'd been following along. It wasn't like right after I activated, I jumped in, but I waited. I want to say until like maybe, I think this position was around like 2. It was not. It was around 11. Like 11:35. But the long and the short of it was, I have been following price up to that point, and it was at an area where I saw that there was a potential for a move, and I just got in and I took it. And as you can see, I only took that one position. I did not overdo it. It was 11:35. So I obviously had the rest of the day if I was really going to try to do some damage. We had some really good movement on Friday, by the way. Some of which was very, I would say, would have been very beneficial, but yeah, I erred on the side against going back into my XFA. I think I actually locked myself out too, just to make sure I didn't do something stupid. So, but yeah, as I'd said previously, I've actually gone as far as to kind of journal and plan out this XFA, this account, per Topstep. Shout out to Topstep. Within the parameters of their revised rules and payout criteria for the 50K. So for anybody that does not know, or if you do know or in the know, or somebody that's like, how does that work? What's it going to look like? So the max, as I understand it, the max that can be taken out of this account, this 50K account, is it's an either or, okay? It's an either or. Either you max out at $25,000 in payouts out of this 50K, or you successfully complete 5 payouts from this account. And under the revised move to a funded account, after that, in either of those scenarios, you get moved to a live funded account. So my plan is, obviously the ceiling, the target excuse me, would be max out the 25K for the account. But that process is going to kind of be met with not, I wouldn't call it, how do I want to say this? I'll give you the broad overview. Let's do the broad overview, because I actually wrote, I literally, like, detail by detail, I wrote it out. And I basically said this. Well, I will trade one mini contract for NASDAQ right now. Once we get through essentially the first payout, then obviously we know that your drawdown is going to be equivalent to the amount that's left, right? So with that being the case, and with that in mind, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to scale down from trading the minis, and we're going to go to micro contracts. And I documented out in my plan that the max micro contract that I will use is 2 micro contracts. More often than not, I'm going to use 1 micro contract. Now, this is not to prolong my time in the XFA, even though obviously by virtue of, this type of a philosophy or this type of strategy, that is exactly what it would do. I think it's literally just it's muscle memory. 1, 2, it's getting into the flow and easing into just becoming a lot more acclimated and comfortable in the XFA itself. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stop using the PA or the practice account at all. So it's just one of those things where I'm just going to be a little bit more measured. Now, having said that, the other thing that I made sure to document out is that I am not in a rush to get to the first payout. Additionally, even if there is a prospect of, my first 5 days in the account, I hit 200 plus in those 5 days, I know that there is an idea, and then there's always that notion like, hey, go ahead and pay yourself. We'll have to see, right? We'll see. I'm not going to be dumb about it. If say, we max out 5 days, and I know that, I've run it up to, I don't know, eight grand or whatever, and we're past 5 days, is there a possibility I'll just say, let's just go ahead and cut it and take, something? I may do that, and then still, even with, and I would say even with that level of drawdown, that level of buffer in the account, or loss or drawdown that I could absorb, I would still go to the micro contracts, and I would stop trading minis. And I think, again, it's a mindset from a capital preservation standpoint that, just trying to embrace that fully. And also, as I said, it's capital preservation over the long term to look at it from that perspective. So I guess you could say a little aggressive at the start, but we'll see how things go. And then ultimately, even in this situation, if we have to make an adjustment, which I've made an accommodation for in my my written plan, and I would actually encourage everybody to do the same thing. So if you find yourself like you pass your combines and you go into XFAs, even if you already have pre-existing XFAs, right, it's still a good idea just to say, what are your plans for this particular account? I mean, obviously going into your combines, you should have had a plan, right? You should still have a plan for your XFA. Even if it's the same plan, it's the practice and the repetition into getting into the habit of reinforcing the things that you're looking to accomplish, because it is very cliche. It sounds very cliche, but it is 100% accurate that what you, especially when it comes to this, what you think about is what you do, right? And ultimately, if you have something that is systematic, that you've made systematic or mechanical, that you just continuously reinforce over and over again. What you do is you eliminate the prospect of doing anything outside of that, specifically under whatever market condition. You're only looking for specifics, and you're looking for specifics framed within a technical plan, whether it be, market structure. If you do supply and not supply, well, support and resistance. I was going to say supply and demand, but if you whatever your model is, your mechanical analysis is going to fall within that technical framework of, these are my parameters, and if this base criteria is not met, then I don't care what it looks like, I'm not going to do it because it doesn't meet the criteria of my plan. So just, I guess you could say, like, that's just one more thing that just process and being in my own head for what I would consider a very good reason and a good thing has kind of brought me to the point of wanting to share, because I don't necessarily know that there's a voice that's out there that says that. You might hear the voice out there that says, journal your trades, journal your losses, right? But is there a voice out there that's telling you, hey, when you pass that combine, write out your plan? Or even type, if you're not big on writing per se in a manual sense, I would say you don't dictate it. It has to, there has to be what can sometimes be referred to as a high touch, right? So don't do something like this. Don't talk into a mic or into a dictation software where your words translate into like a notepad document. What you could do, if you want to go that far and you want it electronic, type it out on the keyboard. There has to be a high touch. You can speak it, but it has to be a high touch, because that's what's going to activate your what's the thing called? It basically activates the portion of the brain that says this is a process that we have to follow, right? It moves it from the realm of like of a very abstract. It takes it from the abstract and it takes it into, a vital status, right? Abstract means it could go either way. It doesn't matter. Vital means this is going to be critical to whatever this is supposed to be related to. And when the brain picks up on the versus the have to do, it's going to disregard the ambiguity of the abstract all the time. It's going to disrespect that because it realizes, well, you don't really have a need for that. This vital thing, though, well, these things are not met. And if you don't have a plan in place, when the brain is saying, hey, didn't you say that was vital? Then what happens? Anything will fit that criteria. Give you a clear example. It's kind of like that old thing of don't go to the supermarket hungry, right? Don't go to the supermarket hungry, and don't go to the supermarket hungry with no list of what to get. Because if you do that, what are you going to do? You're invariably going to pick up something that, one, even in the mental list, which is why I say high touch, write it down, put it somewhere, type it out. Now, those types of things, make yourself a little note or a notepad or whatever on your phone. So when you get to the supermarket, you can look at that list. Same process, same criteria. You get there and you're like, damn, I'm hungry. I'm gonna grab the Snickers bar at the front and I'll pay for it. I'll just hold on to the wrapper, but I gotta bite this right now. And then you're shopping, so you're meeting the other criteria, but what have you done? You haven't defeated your plan, but you've affected it in a way that it wasn't meant to be affected. You've added something that wasn't in the plan, right? I'm gonna stop talking about food in supermarkets. I'm gonna make myself hungry. I think you guys can. I think y'all get it. All right, so we're about 14 minutes away. I know I started hella early, so I appreciate y'all for hanging out today. Yeah, even in talking to y'all now, like I'm Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm doing this in the format in which I'm doing it because yeah, I'm kind of tired. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to lie. So we are up. I was actually looking at where we are. So I'm up to 229 subscribers. So thank you very much again to you guys. I appreciate you. Really, really appreciate you guys. We 20, basically we're 21 away. And at 250, what I'd like to do is a big thank you. Yes, it's not 500, but I don't have to be at 500. At 250, I'm going to figure out what the giveaway is actually going to be. Now, what I'd like the giveaway to be is maybe a trading account, a combine, a combine from one of the firms. I've said this before, so it's not a new condition for me. So I am a fan, obviously, of Topstep. So any of the Topstep plans or programs, any of the Tradeify programs, my funded futures, maybe Take Profit Trader is another. I'm not, and I mean, I'm not saying this in a negative way. I've used Apex, I want to say maybe twice in the past. I didn't have a bad experience with them. I didn't have, I can't say that I had a great, wonderful experience with them either, because I wasn't as acclimated at that point with Tradeovate as I am now. So it was very foreign coming from the guy that loved, TradingView, to the point where I think the one account that I was using with Apex, I didn't realize that that wasn't an option. So I had to use Tradeovate, or I believe it was NinjaTrader. And NinjaTrader at that point, for me, it was like you were asking me to read Egyptian hieroglyphic, and I'm not that way now, but again, it was too new. So I say all of that to say, I'm not disparaging Apex. I'm just saying that my sample size with them is very limited. Some of the social fodder and some of that information, in terms of longevity and payout, like, again, I can't speak to or against what those allegations are. I think, in some cases in this space, prop space in particular, there can be, as everybody well knows, you can have bad players on both sides, and they've been around for a while. So if somebody is more inclined to say, hey, would you offer something on Apex for a particular individual, I would do that. But it's just going to come down to, what would everybody like to see? I would like to give away, like I said, a combine. If I can give away one or two as a thank you, and maybe it's I'd say 250, maybe it's a 25K, maybe it's a 50K. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking loosely off the top of my head. So yeah, at that, whatever stream I do after the 250, that's where I'd like to sit down and, maybe we do a poll in that live, and determine, do we want a 25K or 50K, and what prop firm do we, and I'd like to do that, from a group in a chat feedback session. I would like to do it that way. Or maybe even set something maybe up on the community tab, to where everybody that may not be able to make the live, you can still go in and maybe submit on a form, what account size, what prop firm you'd like to see. So that way we could actually hold a more inclusive giveaway. Because what I'd like to do then is either the subsequent live or maybe that following week. So if I do, let's say we just do the the 250 appreciation subscriber stream on a Sunday, right? And that's the Globex day. If we do a live on Tuesday, Tuesday would be that stream where we determine, okay, what's the account size, what's the firm, blah, 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 right? We go through that process. And as I said, maybe put something up on a community tab. I would field that communication from the community tab as well as the live up through that coming Friday. I could do a recap video, and then that following Sunday Globex Open, maybe I start at 5:30 that day, kind of like I did today, instead of 5:45, and we just do the raffle live, pick the winner or winners, and I still don't know whether I want to do one or two. I think 250, it's kind of crazy to do one, so maybe I'll do two or five. It depends. It depends. But so yeah, do that live, do that before the session starts, and and then it will turn into the road to 500, which I think will be cool. So loosely, just wanted to throw that out there, and just let you guys know, like, I really appreciate it. Like, to be honest, I didn't expect people to really rock with me like that. I didn't. I think that my approach is somewhat unique to me, not to the space. I'm a no bullshit kind of guy on the vast majority of things that I deal with, and there's not like a whole lot of fluff in circumstance. Not pomp and circumstance. It's fluff and circumstance. There's not a whole lot of that. For me, I just don't believe in it. I don't feel like it serves a fucking purpose. Flair for the dramatic. Like, even my intros, like, a lot of people will keep you sitting in an intro window for like a minute, 5 minutes. It's like, dude, I'm not that important. I may be to some degree in certain aspects in life and in areas that I would feel that time and everything is worth something, but and that is the sound of thunder, ladies and gentlemen. I thought by this time, like, a lot of the weather would have passed, but it does not appear that is the case. We got a couple minutes. I'm just looking at the weather right now. I'm trying to see what we got going on. So it looks like we'll be whatever this is, which is a they describe it as thunderstorms will move through your area. High is 74, winds at 12 miles an hour. So it looks like it's going to rain through about 8 o'clock, from now to 8. So a couple of hours. So hopefully it's not, not too rough. We were under a tornado watch earlier today. So hope everybody across the southeast is staying safe, as safe as could be, and hopefully that weather, or that severe weather alert was not too impactful to some, and for those that it was, like, hopefully your efforts to recover and to be made whole again is successful and expedient in nature. So hopefully everybody's come out on the good side, on the right side. All right, so we got about 4 minutes. 4 minuets. Trying to drink more water. So that's all the water, and I think I have like two sodas down there, which is bad, but it's the truth. That's what's down there. And because I'm in a practice account, I'm gonna tell you now, don't judge me. Don't judge me. But depending on as price opens, which direction, right? So I usually say I'm anticipating, I'm looking for something. When I'm like, if it gaps this way, that way. So if we gap up, but we gap up in this framework, I may just jump in and set my stop. And because it's a practice account, it's the only reason I would do it. I'm not going to do it in my XFA. I put my stop here. And if you're like, well, what in the hell would make you do that? Because we've taken liquidity back here. Right? We've done it twice. There's a wick through here for this structure. And I realize you're going to say, well, that's a 1 minute, so why would you do it? But I would. So this was a soup here, which we eventually came and ran back out. But this was a more definitive acquiring of liquidity, and we've essentially closed back up. We didn't really close above this, which is why I said if we gap up, that's my criteria, right? This leg down does not happen without this move. Yes, that's a wick through. That's not enough confirmation. So a body open or a gap up, a retracement short may allow the continuation. So again, there's not just the arbitrary, like somebody would come to my channel and be like, why did you do that? Why would you jump in at the open based on, excuse me. All right, so we've got about 40 seconds to go. Let's go ahead and I'm going to refresh this real quick. Because you know how a lot of times for me, we'll open and I'm like, where is it? What happened? And it's gone. Or we won't see it on the screen. It won't register because it hadn't been refreshed. All right, 5 seconds. Let's see where we open.
The market is open. Order filled.
Excuse me. I thought about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought about jumping over to my XFA, but it's not enough for me. This is more and I will say, like, sometimes I take positions here as more of a discovery, right? Based on what I'm looking at and what I see. It's not a, hey, let's hope that. It's more, yeah. So you see, that is already been violated. So that's actually, I'm just gonna, we'll just do X here, because that would have been an invalid. So we're probably gonna be up for some painting. Yeah, we may not get a whole lot. As long as this holds, I mean, should be. We'll have to see, obviously, but yeah. Excuse me. So we had talked about this move here. There was a body closure. So move back in, supporting structure. So I'm not overly fond of this candle. I appreciate the fact that it gave me a closure above. We should get longs out of this maybe, but yeah, I kind of like, in my mind, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd want this taken. I want it taken because everything can literally just sit inside this candle. And if it does, then this is essentially the range. So yeah, that perfect. Don't take my low, just take that. Don't take this, take that. You took it, great. Now I feel a little bit better. I feel a little bit better now. There, barbecue chicken.
Order filled.
Okay. Barbecue chicken alert. Maybe here. I don't know. Me not know. Me not can tell ya. I shouldn't do that. I haven't done that in a long time, but. And this is why we stay out, ladies and gentlemen. But in essence, you know what we could be doing? I just didn't anticipate it happening like right away. I didn't. We could be taking this right now. Technically, we could. Because we souped it 3 days in a row. So we literally could just be closing down to take that. I'm just saying. I mean, I have targets and everything down here. So we could literally be doing that. But now this is I'm not going to say it's going to put me in a precarious situation because I'm not going to jump in here. We've got to let it go, and you just have to let it develop at this point. But you know, I was looking for a little bit more of a, I guess you could say, a measured short, which is why I was like, hey, we probably maybe get a pop long first. But, you know, three consecutive days worth of soup. Somebody was going to want something different on the menu. So, you know, that's what we end up seeing. Something different on the menu. It's like, yeah, we don't want soup today. We had it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Need something different. This would promote additional shorts if it wanted to. So this is essentially a bit of pairing, to be honest with you. If you can see the framework, yeah, my head's not in the way. If you can see the framework, it's a bit of pairing, but it's pairing for potentially, and from, I'm only speaking fractally from like this 1 minute, it would be for bullishness just back into whatever fair value or inefficiency. So we had this here, so let's see. It's just gonna continue to run. Clear that. Yeah, it might be off to the races here. Yeah, we're off to the races. I just think that's going to be too obvious to run down there and take Tuesday at this point. Because the thing to note and what what you can be mindful of is Friday. Okay? Whatever you do, don't, and not financial advice. But having said, not financial advice, just go back to the daily here for a second, okay? This is your Friday candle. So I would, I'd love nothing more than to support this move. Now, just by definition of liquidity, buy and sell side, by that alone, yes. Should we be looking for Tuesday? No. If we're talking about internal to external range liquidity, should we be looking for Tuesday? Not necessarily. We, by default, we'll probably get Tuesday. What we should be looking for by default is Thursday. Why? Because this is Friday's candle. We always say Monday does what? Monday typically opens inside of Friday, or it will open outside and eventually make its way back into a combination of one or the other. So the reason, again, somebody would say, well, if you're talking about shorts and getting down, and why were you looking for longs? Because again, as I said, this is an economic news week. It's FOMC. We've got a couple of different things going on, right? With the geopolitics and the geoeconomic perspective this week, right? My mindset was, why would you run down here and give everybody, like, unless you're wanting everybody to focus on one particular thing. You want everybody focused on the shorts. When have we ever seen that? Where, everything lines up and everybody and their grandmother is on the right side. Well, everybody can't make money. Everybody cannot make money, right? So, as you well could see in my PA account, right? So, we're going to open inside of Friday. What's the best case scenario? A pop above? There have to be a body, right? Because this is Tuesday. Again, they're all wicks. So could you open here and run up here and soup out Friday and close back inside? Now, if that had been the case, right? If we open today, we soup this out and we move back in, I probably would funnel into shorts. Why? Because that's my expectation, is to get here. But my initial expectation is I'm not really concerned about Tuesday. Hell, I'm not even concerned at that point if we take Friday buy side, I'm not even concerned about Thursday. What am I looking at? I'm looking at Friday sell side. That's all. So I know objectively from a probabilistic standpoint, what's the likelihood that if we clear out Friday that we can get to Thursday? It's possible. It's possible. How long does it take to get there? But this move is kind of going to prompt me to say, okay, I may get a very fractal delivery that's going to allow me to participate before, say, Wednesday Globex or Tuesday night, or I'm gonna be sidelined for the week because I'm just not gonna risk it. Because at this point, I need you to show me. I need to be shown the way. And this move, you know, as nice as it may look, it has some potential, but it may ultimately mean nothing. Now, if between my my work tomorrow and when I get home, 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever, we'll see what the market has done. And I think at that point, it's going to be, is there a very concise range, which it probably will be, again, depending on who's spouting off at the mouth or what agenda is being put forward, you know, whatever that dynamic is, whatever's being said. But I, for one, I'm going to need something that's going to be kind of obvious at this point. And if I don't get that, like, there's nothing, I'm literally going to say there's nothing for me to do. So yeah, I'm kind of going to keep this short. We're only 53 minutes in and I got in early, and it's only, I know you're going to be like, man, it's only 6:20. It's like, it's barely 6:20 and you're, you know, exiting stage left. Yeah, kind of, because if we continue to short, the only logical thing to do at this point is nothing. It is absolutely nothing. If we don't take Friday high, right? If price doesn't turn around at some point and run out the high, nothing to do. There's no liquidity on the table. It's running basically on whatever's been engineered prior to. There's no new liquidity that it's running on right now. Unless it continues, the price continues to drop, and then it runs out Friday sell side, which, you know, at that point, I'm really going to be in a bit of a conundrum to sit on my hands and say, okay, so if it runs out Friday and then it turns around and subsequently runs out Thursday, I'm done trading for the week. Because again, that's not really, it's not good. It's not going to make sense technically for me. Somebody else might say, well, if it's short, then you want it to short. Yeah, but I want it to short from a technical framework, and that wouldn't support my technical framework for it. So, not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that until it meets my criteria, nothing for me to do. Everybody else, good luck. Congratulations if you see it differently. And if the way that you see it is going to be profoundly profitable for you, I applaud that, you know, and I could appreciate, you know, the differing of opinions of how people see price, structure, and liquidity. I do. So yeah, if you get something out of it, great. Me personally, nah. Now, I did mark out these areas, which we've got a closure back inside here. We never took sell side here. So there is, like I said, there is a method and a criteria by which, but this is intraday. This is from Friday. That's intraday. So technically, and see, this is what I mean when I say you could find, if you want to find a way in, the longer you look at something, you can find your way in. There is a structural narrative that is met for this short. Let's do this.
Order filled.
I would have to go here. Oop, I locked that. Let's follow the structural narrative. We'll use, this is the low. I would have to be here, which is why this doesn't, it only works in this PA account. Couldn't work in anything else. And that's the open. That's the Globex open. That's the 6 p.m. candle. Yeah. The narrative, the structural narrative for the range works, but yeah. It's a bit far-fetched. But from a narrative perspective, yeah. Is that, would that be potentially a short opportunity? Yes. And if you're asking me how the hell do you see that, like what the hell are you talking about? I pretty much marked out a range, okay, until price ran through. It cleared out the buy side here. The structural narrative obviously is going to be a high low and then a higher high, and then you're clearing out that low that was established. Well, you have this run. I need to stop calling this a peekaboo, but I do. You know, when structure first pierces a buy or sell side level, right, it does come back in. It makes this low, but however, it makes a high here. It makes a low and subsequently makes a higher high. That higher high comes back through. We've closed at this low here, right? We've not closed through it. We've wicked through it. Just depends on your perspective. However, we've closed back within this range once, twice. Now we're kind of just hanging out and we're respecting that buy side liquidity range. We're still respecting that. So that's my narrative. If I'm looking from a range perspective, what would I be looking for? I cannot put my stop right here because we've got an area of fair value. So it's not uncommon for price to come back, trade back into a range, and then reach for additional liquidity buy side to continue to run short. That is like, I'm not going to talk to you guys like you don't understand or like you don't know, but I mean that is a thing that does happen, right? So can we pop back up here, grab this liquidity, or grab liquidity and also tap back into this area of fair value and then short? Absolutely. Can it continue? Yes. Can it accumulate or reaccumulate here and then pop up and take this and then fall off? Yes. So the narrative is in place, it's in play, but in terms of like delivery and whatnot, yes, is as good as mine right now. Like I said, that's the idea behind the position, but we'll have to see. And this is kind of like the sit and wait game, honestly. Let's go down to 1 minute and see what we see here. Straight up reaccumulation. It's exactly what this is right now. That's your low. That's the high. It's a lower low. to rejection. Yeah, the price is short. It may. I can't say definitively that this is going to be like a very short-term protected high, but it could be. You're going to need another closure. Yeah, this would have to get run out. This would have to get run, and I say that with respect to. This could be, like I said, this could be a very short-term protected high. But in order for that to be validated, you'd have to see price run, like literally it'd have to be like a low resistance liquidity run through this level. And you're going to need, it would have to present like fair value at least once. And the fair value would have to be somewhere in here. If I'm reading that properly, I could be reading it incorrectly. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, because I'm just kind of feeling kind of crappy, man. I'm glad I'm in a practice account. I'm glad I didn't touch the XFA because I don't feel like I'm as sharp as I should be. And I kind of, like I said, I just kind of feel like I want to go lay down. So I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to sit here for a second just to see what we get here. It's gotten really quiet. What happened with the weather is what I'm curious about. Unless it's just like really like blew through here like super quick. Yeah, it kind of looks like the weather just said, hey, the hell with it. Oh, good grief, man. Brain is killing me. Yeah, so the weather is done with what it's gonna do. All right, there's the pop. I'll probably move to like a break even if we clear the low here. Damn it. Right now, let's just go right here. There's a gap down that might continue. Like I said, if it runs out the low, yeah, it's gonna run out the low. I just don't know if it's gonna come. Yeah, see. I would have literally. I literally would have been stopped out right there. I'm probably still gonna get stopped out. Because I did say that's the protected high, and I put my stop here. So let's just put it at a protected high. Let's see. And let's leave it there. And if like I said, the closure that I would be looking for, not so much for the continuation all the way down, but where we might see another expansion short, that would allow us to go to break even and maybe move into, you know, a bit of profit just to see what occurs. So that is 1, 3. What did that come back up to? 21. Yeah. 2, 3. So that is oh, okay. Dee-dee-dee. I'm special. Probably gonna get stopped out. Because now we're gonna teeter back and forth in here. However, we should see the expansion lower. It should be. Let's do it like this. I'm not gonna try to take. Just gonna go there.
Order filled.
That's the difference between being on a 1 minute and a 5 minute. I'm using a manual because I at this point I have to on this 1 minute. So don't judge me. I mean, you're going to anyway, but don't. I kind of already know what I'm gonna do here too. So if we get the opportunity.
Order filled.
I'm out. I'm not gonna sit through that. We have to wait for it to come back down. We have to wait for it to come back down. My gut was telling me to get out when I was up like 55. And I was just trying to wait to see if we were going to get that break below. Honestly, the only thing I was looking for was a break below the 610. It's the only one I was looking for. But we're likely in a candle range situation where it's going to run back and look at how, you know, we're still positive on the XFA. So I like that. I don't really give two shits about, really. And for all the naysayers, the people like, yeah, how could that be? We're still up. I mean, yeah, 49, but like positive in the account. I'm not. This is not a sprint. It's a fucking marathon. So, you know, just remember that. Remember the Alamo. I don't know why I said remember the Alamo, but yeah. It's 18. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sit and we'll watch this for the rest of the evening. Not really gonna filter back into anything. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will see y'all next time. So thanks. Take care.